Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kevin Gunn, and I am coordinator of digital scholarship here at Catholic University of America Libraries. This workshop is being recorded, in case you haven't noticed, and will be made available at a later date, along with the slides today. Today, we're going to be looking at Zotero. I've used Zotero on and off over the many years. I usually switch between that and RefWorks. So if you're not familiar with RefWorks, I can tell you that we have my colleague Benjamin Cushing did a workshop earlier this week on RefWorks, and that workshop is recorded and is available on YouTube on our COA Libraries channel. So we have a whole bunch of stuff up there. I encourage you to go take a look at it. Let's see. So today I want to get to set up in Zotero. This is a basic webinar workshop here, just to get you set up and working on it so you can start adding material, research resources to your platform, and then being able to create bibliographies and that from there. So why don't we just get started? So Zotero. So Zotero is a bibliographical citation management software. So it's very important if you're doing any sort of research that you do this, frankly, with software, because it's going to be very problematic if you don't do that. It's going to be much more complicated, and you're going to be less efficient in managing your research projects. So I highly encourage you, if you haven't adopted a bibliographical citation management software package, I encourage you to either use RefWorks or use Zotero. The difference between the two, I'll tell you right now. RefWorks is a subscription-based through our libraries, so you can use it. When you graduate from this institution, do not forget to take all your citations with you. So that is one limiting factor of RefWorks. With Zotero, one, it's free, and two, you can base it off of the web so that you can go anywhere with it. So it'll always be with you. So that's the chief advantage for Zotero, I think. So what we're going to do today, it's a little bit of setup required here. You have to get a web account and set up your web library that way. Then you have your standalone version, which is going to be on your particular computer that you have. And then the third thing is we want to put in a browser extension called Connector, so that when you find something, you're working in various databases or library catalogs or on the web, and you find something wonderful, you can click on that button and it will take you to your Zotero account, assuming, of course, you have your Zotero library open on your desk. So it's important, like a lot of this stuff is integrated. And in fact, I'll show you that you can actually put a link, a tab into Word, so that you can create bibliographies and citations, that sort of thing. So lots of interconnectivity going on here. So we have to make sure that we're doing syncing properly in that. So, all right, once we do all that, we will go into the platform, and I'll give you a tour and just show you many of the features that you can use, manipulating the data, your citations and that you have. It's really great, and you can really get organized. I'll then show you a number of different ways that you can import sources from our library catalog, from the web, Google Scholar, from our library databases, that sort of thing, get you going there. And then we'll talk briefly about syncing and file management, because you do want to keep things in an organized fashion. And then last, we'll do creating bibliographies, and I'll give a very quick demo how you can input material that's in Zotero into your Word document. All right, let's get started. Right on the nitty gritty. All right, so the first thing we're going to do, and let me see if, Okay, good. We're in the right place. All right. So first thing I want you to do is open up a browser and go to zotero.org. Right. So I want to spend a few minutes here just making sure everyone's on the so-called right page. So you'll notice on this page gives you a lot of great information. Documentation listed here. Let me just click on that. I'm not going to go through all the nitty gritty here. I do touch on a few points as I go through the workshop, but I just want to show you that there's a ton of information listed here, everywhere from um, setting up the stuff in your library, as they call it, taking notes, to generating bibliographies, as well as syncing and some do's and don'ts for syncing and all that sort of stuff. So I'll be very quick in demonstrating that, but I won't be going into greater detail. So if you ever have any questions on that, I highly recommend checking this page out first. All right, so here we are. You have a login button here. Go ahead and click on that. And you're going to have two choices that you do most places. You either already have an account, so you can just log in, or you're going to have to register for a free account. So if you haven't registered for a free account, go ahead right now, use your username or email, use a password. Go ahead and do that. I'm going to log in because I already have an account. And I'm going to do this. And when I log into my account, it's automatically going to take me to my online version. And I don't want that just yet. So I am going to pretend you didn't see that. It's great. It logs you right in. You didn't get to work and all that. But I want to step back for a minute here too and show you some other things. So once you've created that account there, you can log in, and up here you'll know you're logged in right here. And that's a good thing because it involves syncing. You will have your website here, which is great, your material here. You will have on multiple computers if you want. If that is your desire, you can do that, and you can sync it. And once you've set up the syncing, it's great because you're not going to be missing anything. All right, so once we're done that, let's go down to download here, and I'm going to click on download, and I get to come to this page. Now, this page is going to look slightly different from yours. One, I'm using Windows. If you're using Mac, you should be able to get in there and do that. Secondly, I'm using a Chrome. And so it shows install Chrome connector and all that sort of stuff. So you're going to have to spend a little bit of time setting it up on your computer here. I will not spend all that much time more on that, but if you can always follow along later in the recording and going forward if you do fall behind a little bit. Also on here, install Chrome connector, and you'll have to work through Chrome and getting it installed. Once you do get it installed on Chrome in this case, you'll notice in the top right-hand corner, you'll have a nice little button in it. So save to Zotero. And once you've got that, you know you're ready to go. So troubleshooting both of these, most of the time it works fine, but I don't have the time right now to do the troubleshooting. So you can always contact me later too, and we can go through that. So we have our library set up, we're registered, so they created a library, and we have the connector listed right here. They also have just down here Zotero for mobile. I've got it on my phone, but I don't use it, so I just do the platforms here. So if you've done all this, then you can click on Web Library, and this will be my Web Library version. Now I have it installed on my computer, so I will also run it on my computer here, and here we go. So now I have two different versions right here, flipping back and forth. And okay, so that's not going to show that. Some of got all right. So what I'm going to do is I am going to show. Yeah, okay, so here is my version of my, the standalone on my computer. So they have the same content in that, but if you're working in one, if you're doing file manipulation in one, it's not going to necessarily transfer over to the web version in this case, and that's fine. You're still getting the content because you've organized, you've set up the sync, but that's something to keep in mind as well. So if you get confused, if you're on the web version, you say, I swear I put this particular record in here and it's not here, then hey, look in case it may be in a different folder or something in your on your standalone. So I'm going to do the standalone here. That's what I usually work in. And let me walk you around the block, so to speak. So the first thing to notice is that I have my library up here. So this is my library. Everyone has one library, but what you can do is you can create all these different folders here and you can list them whatever what way you want. So you can divvy everything out according to a particular project. If you were to right click, you can sync them automatically. If you right click on that, I'm sorry, I don't know the Mac version of right clicking, but here you can do the syncing. You can create a new collection. You can do a new safe search. Hell, you can even export the whole darn thing if you want. So in this case here, what we're going to do right now, just for fun, I'm going to create a new collection. And we're going to do a little bit of searching on Kant and his theory of love. So I'm going to create that collection right there. There it is. And there's my empty folder. So we're going to have to do something about that in a bit, but I won't do it right now. I just wanted to show how you can create that. So you have all these different folders that you can go through. Tests, plan, you notice all this stuff's happening here. Down here, you have group libraries. And what does that mean is that on the Zotero website, you have a whole bunch of groups that you can join. So if you're into Superman mythology, whatever, you can go in and there are other members that will add material to that folder. And the great thing about that, once you subscribe and are let in, you will be able to access that material here. So if I click on this, most of the stuff here has been added by someone else, other people, but I have access to it and I can use it for whatever means I have. So there you go. Over the years, Zotero has developed a whole bunch of extensions. In this case, there's a Zot Press extension that if you're using WordPress, you can create a type of linkage or RS feed through that. So that's way beyond what we're talking today. But just to let you know, there's a lot of established procedures with regards to Zotero. All right. So I'm going to go up here. I can take a look at all these different folders and that. I'm going to go across the way here just to show you that the interface here is slightly different than what's on the website with the website version, but that's okay. It's still the same stuff, just looks a little bit different. So things that we can do here, we can add a singular title. And that's kind of tedious, but you can do it. And you'll notice all the stuff that you can register here, from a radio broadcast, TV, video recording, preprints, all these sorts of things. That's what's interesting about these, is that you can create your particular item. Wait, come back here again. Oops, pardon me. And on the right-hand side here, you have an email. And you can fill all of this in, the subject, last names, and that's it. So subject is Zotero. Right, and you can do a short title. Let's see, short Zotero with that. And you can put in other material abstracts, all that sort of stuff. So you can basically build one complete citation from one item listed here and go with that. You'll notice on the left-hand side, you're way down here near the bottom. So can I get that further up? You'll notice that it has an @ sign for Zotero. So the little @ sign is a way that the system organizes material for you. So in this case, the @ sign is Gmail, email account. If you looked at this one here, right? This is a PDF. This one here looks like it's a website. And you can go through and then each of these things listed here will have a particular image. So if you were just looking for a particular item, that sort of thing, that's one way that you can keep track, a visual clue, if you will. We look at the next section here, you can add material by ISBN. So if you came across a great book and you've got an ISBN relatively handy, you can just cut and paste and put in there and it'll bring in all the information that's listed there. And you also notice you have DOIs. A lot of journals have those. Well, most journals have them now. PMIDs, the archive IDs, if you're looking at preprints, you don't mind that, and the ADS bib codes and that sort of thing. So you do have those ways you can pull material in. You can also add files, add links to files, attach files, and that sort of thing listed there. So if I were to do, let's say, I have Kant here, just for demonstrative purposes. I'm going to go onto my desktop. I have a couple of PDFs of articles, so I'm just going to drag them. Into Kant's theory of love, and voila, here they are. So I can keep track of material that way. And you'll notice what they did. It went onto the web page. I put them on the web page inadvertently. But oh, hey, doesn't matter because I'm synced. They're automatically here under this particular case. A couple articles on Plato. So there you go. So if I click on that, I will get full text listed there. And that. All right. I'm going to go back up here to Aristotle. Let's see. So if we were to do something like this, I'm going to take you a walk through here. My thing's a jumble of different things, and I don't mind that because I want to show, so much versatility here. All right. So we have the main page pane here. We have the individual content here. Now, if you want to break down the content, you can click on a particular title right here. And on the right-hand side, you're going to have everything that I acquired through a download procedure. And I can tell it from everything from the item type to publication volume, issue date. It's good stuff. Because you need to have all that when you're creating your bibliography anyway. It'll even tell you the DOI, the ISSN, and all the things. It'll also tell you when you accessed it. So that is something that is also useful. It also tells me that in this particular case, I got it from a particular library catalog here, and it gave me this information. Why do I point that out? If you're searching number of catalogs, you're going to probably get some duplication in there, but the duplication isn't going to be, you'll have the author names usually the same, the title, that sort of thing, but you are going to have different material listed or missing. So when you get to the phrase of eliminating duplicates, you're gonna have to go through and take a look at them to make sure, and I'll show you how to do that in a second. So we go down here, and this is really great because you can go down here, you can look in an abstract if there is one available. You have the PDF listed here. Oh, and there it is. I got it from Project Muse. I'm gonna deselect that. When I can read it, I can keep track of it. So you can keep PDFs and other images and whatever in your online version, but be aware that there's a limit of 300 megabytes in there. So there are workarounds where you can either just put in the link. In this case, since you at Catholic University of America, you have the link to Project Muse. You should be able to put that in there and not have to worry about losing the citation. You can there is a way to set up where you can use something like Dropbox or Google Drive, but that's involved, much more involved setup procedure. And they do, Zotero folks do warn you against that in the documentation about that, not doing that you have to do it in the correct way, otherwise it will corrupt your files. So something to be aware of. If you go down here, you see you can write notes to yourself. You can say whatever you want in there. If you find something in the paper that's really quote worthy, you can start pulling that out and putting the quotes into your notes section here. So that's very useful. You also have a tag section. Let's see back here. You'll notice, just as an aside, you have your parent file in the center here, and then here you have your note file, and here your PDF. And these called the children files, if you will, with the parent and the child. So it's important to understand where you are within that particular record. Otherwise, it can be very confusing. So we'll scroll down here a little bit. And we'll notice we have our notes, we have the library collection where we pull that from. We have tags. And I want to add a tag and just say, Plato Republic. So I can tag material that's in this folder, for example, but I can also search for it so that if I have this record can actually appear in different other folders and they would still, they can still come up. So I'm just going to do that for now. And if you'll notice, on the left-hand side down here, bottom left-hand corner, here's where all your tags are. So when you're doing searching in a library catalog or whatever, they will pull some tags and put them there. But you can manipulate these tags to a great degree. So if I do this and I do Plato, look what I get. I get all these different Plato doohickeys tags, and I can manipulate them, combine them, that sort of thing. So I did Plato's Republic. So if I click on that, it will go through my library and search for all the ones that have Plato Republic. So I can put them up right there and I can work with them. I can manipulate them. Once I'm done with that, I can click it again and it takes me back to regular page, to the regular list. So that's what you can do with that. If I right click on Plato Republic, I can assign a color to it. So after a while, you can assign different colors to different projects that you're working. I'm going to do orange here. So now it's got orange. So and you'll notice it will pop up here. So that's another way you can keep track through colors if that's your inclination. Okay. You can rename the tag and split the tag or even delete the tag. So you do have those options. All right. So we want to go up here. So you're looking at, that's great, Kev. You got title, creator, and then the document type here. But I want a little bit more from my Zotero. So what you can do is you can go up to View, and it will provide layouts, density, font size, that sort of thing. I'm going to go to Columns, and here are the columns that you can add to it. So this can be quite detailed if you want, or very much not. So if I do year, all of a sudden I've got year listed up here, and it's just barely off there. So I'm going to do that, and now you have year. So depending on what you want to do, if you're looking at stuff from the past 5 years, that's a quick way that you can look. You can organize right here. Just click on year, and it will organize it for you. It's really good. All right. If you have more, you can have more items. You can do all this. So you can see it gets very specific in terms of what you want to do with regards to the records. All right. Is there any questions at this point? Yes.
Evan, just two things from me. First of all, you mentioned that the online version only allows you to have a certain amount of PDFs attached. If you
Yeah.
use the the downloaded version on your computer, that allows you to put as much as you want in, does it? Or is it still
Yeah.
related to the syncing?
You can set up your standalone to have as many files as you want.
Okay.
Yeah. So in that sense, I am not very clear on how they link together. I would assume they would still have the same record, but you just wouldn't be able to access that. So I think at this point, that's a good question, and I am going to go to let's see if I've got that. All right, so I've switched over to um, the web version. And if you go to my name here under my profile, or your case, whoops, that's not the right one. So settings, if you click on settings, you have my stuff here, if you will, disciplines, and where did it go? It did not show me. Oh, storage right down here. And this can tell you how much storage that you have on here. So I have 300 and I have 67 committed out of the 300 so far. So I'm doing okay. They do have subscriptions, 2 gigabytes for 20 bucks a year. So it's not a hardship, but you know, if you don't want to pay the 20 bucks, then there are the workarounds that you can do it. So you have to be very careful on that. So, all right, I'm going to go back here. And I'm going to go, was that your first question? Do you have a second question?
I do, but I think you're probably going to answer it, so I'll leave it for now.
Okay. Right, and I am going to go. See, I'm just going to pop out for just a second here. It's one of the things teaching this, if you're doing a web version and a standalone, Zoom doesn't allow you to share that way. You have to sort of go back and forth. Let's see, is this, no, that's the wrong one. There we go. All right. And we have another question.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes, please go
Hi
ahead.
there.
Hi.
So if you take out the PDF, right? So if you remove the attachment, everything else stays, and then you just keep the link in there. Where is the link again? I don't.
The link, everything that you want. So if you want a particular record, so that you like this one here, I'm just grabbing a record. You go on the right-hand side, it will take you all the way down here. So here is the DOI and that. So you can keep track of it and you can follow it, you know, right here. Now you say, Kevin, where'd you get that? I'll show you how that happens. It automatically populates when we do searches in our search catalog on Google Scholar in our library databases. It will pull that sort of material in there automatically. But you can also, if you have a URL, DOI, you can put that right in there as well. You can do that manually. So you have a lot of ways you can manipulate this data. It's quite,
Okay, you can just hit that pop out. If you hit that pop out, that'll take you
That's right.
to it'll take you directly to the,
okay. And I just did it and I'm back to the website and I don't think you can see it. But yeah, it takes you to the website and it's right here. So that's a good thing. I should also mention that it will take you to the DOI. That doesn't necessarily mean that it will be full text available right there. So you may have to do an additional search to get that in our
oh,
library catalog, right? So that's something to keep in mind. It doesn't automatically give you the full text.
got
All
it.
right.
And I just had another question. When you
Mhm.
went back to your profile, you can only do that on the web site. You can't do it through your app.
Well, you can do it both through the stand-up and the website,
Okay,
but you're limited to 300 megs storage space on the online version. So
okay,
that's an important thing to keep in mind, because let's face it, when you start adding a few PDFs, they're going to add up in space. So,
yes.
all
Okay,
right, so
thank
here
you.
I am. So we're right here. The great questions. Okay, so now it is time, my friends, to do some solid searching here. So there are many different ways that you can um, pull up, put material in here. I showed you one where I just dragged and drop from my desktop. You can link or attach any file type from anywhere, which we just talked about. Excellent. I showed you the identifier, the ISBN thing listed up here. Where'd you go? Right here. There we go. And now we're going to do some importing with Zotero browser connector. So how are we going to do this? So we are going to go to our library website. And let's see, I'm going to pop that up there. All right. So everyone should be seeing our library website, libraries.catholic.edu right here. So we're going to go in here and we're just going to do a search. And I'm going to do Kant theory of love. So boom, just do a quickie search here. Oh, look, I get 426 items, which is pretty cool. Now I should mention, going back here, I'm back in my library again. So here I am, I'm set up. I want to do a project on Kant and his theory of love. So first thing I want to do and make it a little bit easier is I'm going to click on that. And so I'm all set up to receive material from the website. And let me go here. So we're back in here. So I'm looking at this material here and I go, oh, there's a lot of interesting things here. I'm not too sure if I want all of them, but I think they might be very interesting here. So I'm going to go up to my little box up here. And it says save to Zotero. So I'm going to click on that. And a little box will come up. Can you see the box?
Yes.
Okay, good. That was scaring me for a second. So we have, and list the first 10 items listed here. We have a lot more on there, but this is a good way to collect. So we can say, you know what, do we want to select them all? Sure, why not? So we will select them all. But before we do that, we want to look in the right-hand side here and look what happened. says saving to Kant's theory of love. That's because my browser is linked and my standalone is linked to the connector. It's already saying, oh, I've got your folders ready for you right here, man. So here you go. Worst case scenario, it'll say my library, in which case you have to dump them all in there and then sort through them and all that. So if you do this one step, we're going to select theory of love, then you can put them all in automatically. So let's say here, and I am going to do this again. There we go. I'm going to select all of them just for fun, and I'm going to do OK. And you notice on the right-hand side here, they start listing all the stuff and start telling me whether it's a book, they have little different icons next to it, that sort of thing. So it's gone through and it's added things. So communal ownership, that's the first one here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my library. Oh. Where'd you go, buddy? There we go. And voila, I'm back into my standalone Zotero, and it just populated all this stuff here. So that's a pretty cool thing, and I love it. That's great. So I'm going to click on, I've got 3 things here, and I'm looking down here, and I go through and just see what do they represent. It tells me everything in here. Hey, 2 months from now, when you're submitting that final paper, you want to check this citation. Like, where did I get it from? This will tell you, got from our WRLC catalog, library catalog. So, oh yeah, it was a COA thing. And then you list here. And again, you can manipulate all this sort of data and that. And no attachments, but that's okay. We don't want it. So if I click on the second Hanley here, so I did the first one, I did the second one, slightly different, right? Still Cambridge. And the third now on it's saying New York. So there, it has various different ways. If you pull them down, these records, there'll be duplicates going forward. Let's take a look at another one here. That's a book. This one is conference paper, item type conference paper. So that's what this image is, a conference paper. So, and again, it's a way that you can keep track of your material. So this is a conference paper within a book. We have contributors here. Scroll down. You have the abstract and that, and you have the tags listed here, which you can delete or use however way you want. All right. So that is a very quick way. So let's say we want to get rid of some duplicates. So we're doing Love's Enlightenment. Let's look at that. On the left-hand side here, right, we have all these wonderful folders and that, but they also put in some functions. And here's one, duplicate items. So I'm going to click on that. And everything in my library, the whole kit and caboodle, all this stuff, is going to list all my duplicates. So I have some cleaning to do. You know what I'm saying? So what I can do is I'm going to scroll down to Love's Enlightenment. Let's see, where did that go? See, you can tell it could be a bit of a problem finding these different items here. So if I can't find it, not a problem. I will just select one of these. All right. Oh, there we are. Okay. So I have a whole bunch of them here. So I can click on, oh, that's very interesting. So it's clicking on these different ones for whatever reason. So it selected these 3 ones, these particular ones, and they'll say, okay, you downloaded these, top right-hand corner today. One was at 11:55, another one was at 11:57, and another one was at 12:37. So we just did. So you can look at these particular versions here, and they're not showing any difference here. So you can feel quite reasonable if you want to delete one of these all these three, you can right click. Pardon me, not right click. You can take these and you can press delete button and it'll say, okay, you want to delete those? They're going to go to trash and they will go to trash. You can still retrieve them from trash if you made a horrible mistake. So you can do that. See, in here you got 2 citations in that. So sometimes you'll have different authors, 2 authors, and only one record will mention one author, another record will mention 2 authors. Say, oh, I want the 2 authors. So you can go out and you'll need to clean that up. So that's a bit of a step of the process. All right, so that is that. I'm going to go head back to our library catalog. That, and this is still open, so we'll close that.
So I have I'm sorry, I have a question about the deletion though. How do you know if you're deleting
Oh,
like
the list went shortened. Because there,
so like no, like if you are deleting duplicates, how do you know you're deleting the right one? Because I saw like on my list, like some of the numbers looked a little different.
yes, and that's it. You're going to have to make judgments about which record that you're ultimately going to use.
I see.
Yeah, and that's a good question because the demonstration wasn't all that clear. It said, you know, what was it, Oxford or whether, or Clarendon or whatever. So the publisher was slightly different. Clarendon's an offshoot, you know, off-print or whatever. So, but you can have very great differences in terms like an author where one author cited, but then actually the book has 2 authors. So it's not a perfect thing. Or one journal article may not have a volume or issue or page numbers, but the same, but another record with the same title will have those. So that's what you're going to need to do. You're going to be making sure you're managing each of your records and making sure that they are present. And it's good to get rid of the duplicates because at a later date, you want to do references and a bibliography. And if you don't clean them up from your folder, they're going to appear in your final
Mhm.
document.
Twice. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you're going to have to clean it up at that point.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so
What's the downside to merging them? What if you merge them?
you can merge them and just go with that. You'll have the mega record if you want, and then you can go through and see if it makes sense to you, right?
Okay.
'Cause when you do that, you're allowing Zotero to quote unquote take responsibility and make those best judgments about what to add.
Oh,
That sort of
gotcha.
thing.
All
So
right.
that's fine. I mean,
Okay.
that's perfectly fine. Let's see, where are we here? Okay, so we're in this. I wanted to show you our library catalog. I wanted to show you particular databases. I'm going to go into library information size. Let's see if I can. There we go. I'm going to click on a particular database right here, and I can type. Actually, you know what? I should do philosopher's index. Try to be consistent here. So Kant, theory of love. Right. So here you have a whole bunch of other different records, and they have the right title, that sort of thing. But again, you will have record variations within Zotero. So I'm going to click on this. It pops these up. I'm going to go over here to my theory of love. I'm going to do this again. It pops up these, select all, and then boom. And it pulls these up right here. So again, oh, lots of PDFs. How nice. And those will appear in my particular thing. Here they are in my library. So if I do this again, they're saving it to that. So they should be in there. All right. The third thing is I want to show you Google Scholar. So if you go into Google Scholar, you can type in, what I recommend at Google Scholar, if you go to the left-hand side here, you can go down to Settings. And you can do library links. And what I do recommend you doing this anyway, regardless if you have Zotero or not. And you will have the opportunity to link to Catholic University here and open worldwide search. So I recommend doing that because then you can have some links. So if I do Kant theory of love, all this, so you view it at CUA, there's a PDF here, looks like, and other stuff as well. So I can do this again, excuse me. Do the old Zotero thing. And list here, and of course, we're getting different titles and stuff, right? So, which is very interesting. So do that. And you'll notice it'll take its time loading stuff up, but eventually it will do so.
Can you
right.
show how you got there again? I want to just follow with my keystrokes.
If the Google Scholar part, the setting it up. So what you want to do is
Yes.
Google Scholar, and on the left-hand side, you have the hamburger. And if you go down to settings and click on settings, and then you go to library links. And there you go. So even if you're not using Zotero at all, if you're doing Google Scholar search, those links will show up if they're available. So it's one more way you can gather information.
So you just add the Catholic University.
Yep, just click those little boxes.
I only have two.
Which ones?
I have Morgan Community College. I don't know how I got that. And then Open World Catalog.
Okay.
Search.
All right. That's very interesting.
But I can search for it, right?
Do you have a Google account?
Mm-hmm.
You do, eh? And on the top right-hand corner, right here. So yes, you can actually search for, like, I'm sorry, I made it overcomplicated. Yeah, just search for Catholic University and see what pops up.
Yeah, I have to view it. I didn't get the ProQuest. But I can put ProQuest in there, right?
Let me throw Harvard in. So here I have Harvard, try Harvard Library, but it doesn't make much sense for me to do that since I don't have access to Harvard. So yeah, if you have access, then it's worthwhile to the content. All right. So we did all that. 3 different ways you can pull material in that regard. All right, now going through my notes here for PDFs. Anyway, let's talk about syncing because I think that's a very important thing that we should be doing here. I'm going to go share to my. Is that it? No, that's not it. All right, there we go. All right, so we're back to here. Let's take a look at our Kant theory of love is really filling up, isn't it? 31 items, so that's great. So we've got a good basis for that. Now I want to talk about syncing because I think it's very important just to let you know. So if we go up here, we're going to take a look at these particular items here. If you go under Edit and you go to Settings, you have sync listed right here. So how do you make sure that your online website and your standalone are syncing? You can log in here. So I've logged in. Whatever username and password you used for the web version, go ahead and log in like that, and that will tell you what to do. You can also, once you've logged in, it will ask you, what libraries do you want to sync? Do you want my libraries and feeds, or do I want those particular digital humanities one and the Zotpress thing? I always say all of them just to be consistent. You can also, that is with regards to data syncing, and it's important to know this is different. So group libraries and storage, they have a limit of 300 megabytes. So you want to distinguish between data and file syncing. This is the data, the metadata, all that sort of stuff. And then the file syncing is listed here. So you're saying, you know what? I don't want the file is the word sunk synced. So you can select here, and this is how you go about making sure that only the PDFs appear on your standalone and not on your web version of it. So that's an important thing to note. We do go to general here. Maybe worthwhile just to walk through this. So you can have the various appearances that if you don't have to just accept what's there. You could have file handling, the automatically attached PDFs. So again, that's something you don't have to worry about. Automatically retrieve metadata and all that. File renaming, it's always important. You can go in and select these particular titles on an individual basis, or you can set your account up a bit so you have ways that you can rename your file and moving forward like that. For readers, you can have open PDFs using Zotero or something else that you want. Snapshots, EPUB snapshots, that sort of thing. And you can go listing through here. So some general stuff that I think might be useful to you. If you're doing groups, definitely I recommend child notes, having all these child links, tags, all that. It's just easier. When we get to export listed here, as I've said, you want to do a quick what is your bibliographical style? In this case, I have Chicago manual style. That's important because in a bit, I'll show you how to do this. If you want to do cite, if you're citing material, it has all these style managers listed here. So you can go in, it's like 10,000 or something like that. You have to go ahead and select all that. And then if I go to advanced, you can go through and you can do various things like broken site locators and that sort of thing. Languages, down here you have files and folders. You have a base directory that you can use for linking stuff to, let's say, your desktop. So if you have a particular folder, a folder that you want to link to, you can put that in there and it will dump the stuff in there if that's the way you want. You just have to make sure that the link remains, the directory remains consistent. The path remains consistent, because if it's not, then you're going to lose your stuff. So here, data directory location, it's under Gunn and it's under Zotero. Great. And they'll show you the data directory. If you click on that, it'll show me on my desktop where it is exactly. So you can do that. You can link it to, Dropbox or something like that, Google Drive if you want to. And then a number of stuff here. Just to mention, I'm not going to do this, but if you're searching in something like PubMed or whatever, they have an automated feed service. So you can put a feed listed in here, and you can have it set up so it's pulling from that feed. So whenever anything is added new to PubMed, given that particular topic or whatever, then it will pull it right into Zotero. And if you have a Zotero folder for that, it will populate it automatically. So the database will do the work for you. It'll pull it into Zotero. So it's pretty cool. All right. I'm not going to demonstrate that today. All right. So we've got all that in terms of options. Oh, you have the various ways you can have things listed here if you want. You can have a stacked view. So you can have it down here. So there's that sort of thing. I'm just going to go with standard. Tools, you have these particular things here. I'm not going to show them here right now. All right, so we have all of that. Now let's say I'm here and I want to add, let's see, let's say I want to add a file. Let's see if I did this correctly. So I can do an add file option. And usually they are, let's see, where did I put this? Put this on desktop. I think I had it under Plato. There it is. So if I keep stuff like this, oh, pardon me, that's not it. I'm looking for a RIS file. And I think I may have lost it in my collection. So you'll notice when you're in library database and that you have the option of saving your material as a RIS file. So if you did that, you could download it onto your website, your desktop, and then just pull that in this way, and it will automatically populate in this particular folder. So you can attach a file, that sort of thing, or a web link, whatever works for you. So that is one way that you can do that. All right, I think I've covered most of this stuff here. This, like I said, this has been very quick. And now I should show you the bibliography, how to create that. So here's my Word document, and the ever popular lorem ipsum listed here. So I'm typing along and I go, hey, I need a quote from someone here. So I've got this link right here. So what I can do, because I have Zotero up here and I installed that separately, I can add a citation. And I'll click on that. And this button will come up and it'll say selected items. In this case, I had selected an item in my previous folder, right? In my standalone, so it's showing this. So, but let's say I wanted to look for Kant, remember it was Borges. So let's say I do that, it pulls that up there. And then I just click this button here. And boom, there's my man right there, Borges listed right here. So that's how you can keep track of your stuff as you go along. Now down here, we have references. Let's say I want to add a lot more material. So I can click on add or edit bibliography. And it will automatically, because I only selected the one, it will put that in here automatically. So there you go. So you see, this looks in excellent order. It looks like a standard reference, no mistakes or anything like that. So the moral there is when you're working in a particular folder in Zotero, make sure your records are not duplicated, make sure they're complete, make sure they have everything. That way, when you're actually working in your paper, you'll be able to just pull this material lickety split and not have to worry about doing all these big edits. So I'm going to do this. Oh, okay. So let me take a look here. And I clicked on it again and said, you know what, maybe you want more material. So I'm going to say, yes, I do actually want all of this stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click the top one and I'm going to scroll down and I have my shift button held down. So that's, and I clicked on that. So I was able to select all those. I click this green button and boom, it sends all this stuff right here. List here, and then I can go, okay, and boom, voila. Now you notice I didn't clean up stuff here, right? So you have this. you know, I have this listed here, so this would need cleanup. So it's up to you. If you have this here and say, oh, I can go through and just clean up these individual records, then it's good. So I'm not too sure what PHL, this sort of thing listed here, right? So you're gonna have to clean that up. So that is basically today's show, folks, and it's an hour, we're just 101. So does anyone have any questions about this?
Yes. Hi, Kevin. Sorry.
No, no,
I
ask as many
apologize.
questions you want.
I've got three. I'll be as
Okay,
quick as I can. Uh,
okay.
First of all, how easy is it to upload a tailored style guide? You know, in the canon law, we have our very particular style guide. So is that something that's
Oh,
quite technical, or can you just?
that's a very good question. So
I
many good
saw I saw a
questions.
way of adding, adding styles, but I wasn't sure if that was just one style
There is,
got in.
yes. Okay. Let's see, we were under, um, you know, and I should mention, I didn't even show advanced searching, but, all right. All
It's
right,
under
so
site, I think, yeah.
under site, you can, let's see.
And it said there, get additional styles, and I looked up the Canadian one that we discussed the other
Oh,
day.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I found that straight away, clicked it, but how do I create that? That's what I guess I'm asking.
I guess. That's a good question. Can you? That is, let's see, paste, delete all file, save, print. It doesn't appear that you can do that
Here.
in this platform, but I wonder if you can do it on the website. That would be my first question.
Okay.
Uh,
I can follow that up afterwards. That's great. It's
yeah,
not something. It
yeah,
doesn't just upload and sort of AI takes over and works it out.
yeah. I think, yeah, you'd have to upload it. And then at that point, how does it handle um, that particular style guide as well? So
Okay.
I could get
Um,
crazy.
that's great. And so then the second one was I quite often will cite articles that have another language in the title, and I
Mhm.
can't see a way to italicize a title. So if I've got a title that has, a
Um,
Latin term in the title, normally in the citation that would be in italics.
so let's see. I've just randomly selected this one here, and let's see. I'm gonna do Amore. Did I spell that right?
Hmm,
Let me see if I can do this. Let's see if I select that, and I'm gonna do a bit of a workaround. I'm gonna do Control I and see what happens. Oh, nothing. That's a very good question. Now, could I cut and paste it from somewhere else? You may have to do something like that.
mhm.
Um, hmm, yeah, that could get quite involved. I think
Okay,
if it doesn't transfer, because that's a very good question, because I'm looking at all these and they all seem to have, they're all straight. There's no bold or anything like that.
yeah, I
So,
just did a copy
sure.
paste and it didn't make a difference.
Oh, okay, so maybe not, maybe you don't have that. So again, what happens is you have your bibliography in Word and you go in and you make that change.
Okay.
So, and that's fine. That's probably the end part of the process right there, you know, so.
And then the final thing was, is there a similar, you showed us in Word how to insert a bibliographical reference. Is there a similar plugin for Pages?
Or pages. Uh, do you mean a page within a,
Sorry, no, so if the Apple software for,
oh, I'm sorry, I have no idea.
okay,
I
okay,
would think, Google that, see if they'll list something like a Zotero documentation, you can go in and see if what they sort of list as well. Yeah, these are all good questions.
great.
As you can see, this gets very involved very quickly.
Yeah.
Um, I spent an hour on this and I feel remiss about if I don't show you how to use advanced search here. So let's see. So let's see, am I still sharing my screen here? Yes, good. So I've popped up, you should see advanced search on your screen, I hope. Um, and you can search for all these different things this way. containers and that sort of thing. I show this to you because you can actually do quite an involved search. You can search sub collections. You can search, include parent and child items and matching items. And once your PDFs are synced and they've been read, you can actually search for quotes or whatever within the PDF itself. So within Zotero. So if you remember a catchy phrase or something like that, and I know it's in here somewhere, you can do that kind of involved search. So many, many hidden features here. All right. Are there any further questions? All right, going once, going twice. All right, thank you very much. If you have any follow-up questions, my email is gunn, Gunn, @cua.edu. And I'm sure you will because there's a lot going on here. And we've only touched on some of the aspects of the features that you can do in Zotero, but that should be enough to get you to do dangerous things with this. So, okay. Well, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you. And we'll see you around. Bye-bye.